I wanted to do a AFPAC IV recap because everybody's doing it, and I did it the first two AFPACs that I went to, so I feel like I have to, but I have no time to like sit down and do a stream and whatever. So I'm in my car somewhere right now, and I have a couple hours to kill, so I'm gonna just give my AFPAC IV recap in a Twitter space, and then I'll like put it on YouTube or something like that. But anyway, so starting off, my dad was supposed to come with me to AFPAC, and then at like the last second, my stepmother, she has liver cancer, which is very unfortunate. Please pray for her and stuff like that. But she decides to pull the cancer card at the most inopportune moment and starts having severe struggles with her medical conditions and stuff, like the 2 days before AFPAC. So my dad's like, obviously, can you guys still hear me? All right, we're good. Just do a reaction if you guys can hear me. It looks like you can. But right away, my dad's like, I can't go, whatever, so that sucks. So I already know that I'm going by myself, so I get to the airport, and I go to get my ticket. First of all, the baggage claim thing that he did was wrong, completely wrong. I guess with whatever airline we were using, United, I think it was, there's different levels of economy. It's not just like economy and then first class or coach or however it works. I don't really fly a lot or whatever, but he booked me for like basic economy or something, which means that you can't have a carry-on bag. So I get there and like, oh, you can't bring that with you. And I was like, can I pay extra to get one? They were like, no, we're at full capacity. I'm like, so what does that mean? I have to check my bag? So right away, I'm like, okay, great. So I have to go to another line, check my bag. Then I wait online and I get to the security and I give the TSA lady my license and the thing or whatever, and she says, oh, your name doesn't match your ticket, your boarding pass. So I'm like, really? So my dad, who has the same name as me, by the way, who filled out everything to set up all the tickets and everything like that, messed up my name on the thing. So I had to go all the way back around. So anyway, it was a nightmare getting on the plane. I finally get on the plane, and it's like there's a bunch of Jews. And honestly, I was really, really happy that there was so many Jews on my plane, because I obviously know that, like, they're not going to kill their own, like, if they're going to do a false flag terrorist attack, they're going to have, like, normal people and a bunch of Muslims or something like that. So I do feel a lot safer when I see, like, a lot of Orthodox Jews. And my guy next to me was super Orthodox Jewish. Like, he had, like, the black string that you roll around your hand or whatever, and he didn't start doing like the cube praying to Saturn satanic nonsense or whatever, but he was like legit, like as Jewish as you can get. My dude was full blown Jew, full blown case of terminal Judaism, and so I was happy about that. I was like, all right, good, I'm not gonna die on my way to AFPAC. So we land in Detroit, which I'll give my brief review of Detroit throughout this, which not a fan. I get to Detroit, and there's a groiper that was on my flight. I don't know if he wants me to. I'll say his screen name. His name was Orphead or whatever. And he came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you're going to AFPAC?" He's like, "Your specs all right?" And we started talking. That was really cool. Oh, he's in this listening thing. There he is. I met Orphead. He's a very nice guy. He has a beard. He's Catholic, so that's good. And then I'm walking, and like right in front of me towards this was actually before I met Orphead, because we were walking towards the baggage claim, and there was a gay black couple next to an Orthodox Jew. And I was like, there's no way this is real life right now. Like, somebody's literally like playing a joke on me. But so that was really funny. So then I get an Uber, right? Which, that was another thing. My Uber, there was a special place where you had to be picked up for your Uber, and of course I went to the wrong one, so my Uber canceled on me, so I had to wait another 30 minutes for another Uber. Awesome. So then I get to the hotel. The hotel is like, it's called a Holiday or Quality or some type of like super whatever inn, right? Like just something and then inn. Totally like ghetto, not somewhere where I would ever choose to sleep, but we don't know, like, Detroit, we don't know the areas. And it was right next to like a Hilton or something like that was like mad nice, but my dad picked this one, but it's okay, it's cool, it did the trick. I just need to sleep somewhere, so whatever. But it didn't even have a welcome center. You walked in, it was like a picnic table with a morbidly obese, very pleasant black woman with just like a laptop and like a cash register. It was like, is this even a real hotel? So I stayed there. I didn't do anything the first night, because Pine Sap wasn't getting until 10, and Pine Sap is literally the worst person to get in touch with in the history of human connections. If you ever want to get in touch with somebody, and you need them like immediately, don't let that person be Pine Stuff, because I'll text him and he'll text me like 4 days later answering a question that has nothing, and I'm like, what are you talking about? But anyway, so I didn't know what was going on with Pine Stuff. He wasn't landing until 10 o'clock that night anyway, and he had mad problems with his flight. It got delayed like 6 hours or something. So there was a couple other people. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying. I did do something that night. These two groypers ended up meeting me in my hotel, and we tried to go to a mass that was supposed to be at like 7 o'clock or something. So I got like all dressed up and stuff, and I met them in the hallway. And it's really cool, like meeting, every time I go to these events, it's really cool meeting people who are like in the know and like know stuff or whatever, because you have conversations that you're only usually having like online and not with people like like actually conversating. So to actually like be in the presence of some, just throughout the whole weekend too, but just like being in the presence of people who talk about these crazy like autistic things all the time like you do, it's it's a very comforting feeling that you don't really get a lot. That's why what makes like these types of events so special, I think, because everybody's like on the same page. And we had like a mad long discussion about like space being fake and flat earth and stuff like that. We were like debating and stuff. It was pretty good. I won, obviously. But we tried to go to, they were very nice though. We tried to go to the mass, but it was canceled. But we got to see this beautiful architecture all throughout Detroit. Like, it's crazy. It's because Detroit was like the General Motor City or whatever it was. Like, they were producing mad cars. Had a bunch of factories. Henry Ford obviously had his factory and all that stuff. But like, it was super booming. And then I don't know all the details, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with like demographics and Judaism, probably, if I had to put my money on it. That like it totally just got messed up, and now it's all run down. Nobody takes care of anything. It's mostly black people. There really isn't any white people. The white people are extremely low class. And my whole experience with Detroit was through the movie 8 Mile. That's all I know about Detroit. And it's a little bit different than that. It literally is like a 26-mile long highway or something. And like every mile thing or whatever, I guess there's like a town or something like that. So that movie was basically the border town between 8 Mile and the thing. But I went to Detroit City and Romulus, I think it was called. And we passed through like that long stretch of highway and stuff. And Detroit sucks. The best thing about Detroit is that it makes you appreciate everywhere else in the entire universe that is not Detroit. It is just something so depressing and like horrible about it. And I'm in New York City all the time. Like, I know how multiculturalism and all these trannies and all this gross stuff I see all around me all the time. I'm used to that stuff or whatever, but just like, it was just bizarre. Like, you would go mile stretches and see nothing but like abandoned houses and stuff. And then you would have blocks where most of the houses and stuff were like burnt down or abandoned and boarded up and stuff like that. But then there would be like one mad nice house in the middle of everything. It was crazy. It made no sense. But then you see like remnants from like before the apocalypse or whatever happened to Detroit, where like you see mad nice architecture and statues. We saw this giant Jesus statue that was beautiful. I don't remember the whole story, but I think it was Father Coughlin, his name was, or something, where he wanted to build like a wooden cross or something, and I don't know, they like knocked it down or burned it. Like, it was something with the Ku Klux Klan too. Like, the Ku Klux Klan was very against Catholics, so I think that they wanted to. They burned down a wooden cross that he made in front of his parish or something, and so he gathered like everybody to chip in money and effort and stuff like that, and they built this gigantic Jesus statue in the middle of Detroit. And he said, like, oh, let them try to knock that down or something like that. So it's like a really like historical cool thing that we got to see. But yeah, so that was cool. And that's really the only good thing about Detroit, really, is the architecture. And I hope that I never have to step foot into Detroit for the rest of my life. Oh, we got Chief Trumper in here. That's awesome. What's up, man? So anyway, so yeah, I was just telling everybody how much I hate Detroit, except for its architecture. So anyway, so that was it. We went back to the hotel. The next day, I'm in like this AFPAC for like, we're going to meet up group chat on Telegram that I made like a couple months ago when I first got my tickets. So we had a bunch of people that were like planning on like hanging out and meeting up and going to AFPAC together. So I was hitting up the group chat, and we decided to meet at Huntington Place where the TPUSA event was at like 2:30. So I get there and I immediately see like 10 to 15 people that like were expecting me and knew who I was and stuff like that, which was really, really cool. Like, it's insane. Like, I know I've been to these, like I said, I've been to these events before, and I know how it is. And like when I went to AFPAC 3 and stuff like that, like a lot of people knew who I was. But every time like I'm going to these events, I am never expecting like anybody to know who I am. I'm always so nervous, or the opposite. I think like everybody's gonna hate me. I have really weird like self-conscious issues like that or whatever. But every time I go to an AF event, it is like literally nothing but love and respect, and I get to have all these cool conversations and meet all these cool people. Anyway, so I get there, and that's when I met up with JB. We had the Optical Descent reunion, and we had like, I want to say probably 20 or so groypers like surrounding us and stuff like that. We start getting into this argument. It's on my video. I've made a video about like going to AFPAC or whatever, but we start getting into an argument with this like street preacher Protestant guy who one of his signs says like Catholics are idol worshippers and go to hell and all this stuff. So we start like, we basically start trolling him, saying like gluttony's a sin because he was fat. And we pray the Hail Mary to him and stuff, which was pretty cool. We kept asking him what does the Schofield Bible say about Israel and Jews and stuff. So that was pretty funny. Then we tried to go into TPUSA, and literally like we had a large group, I guess, but it wasn't, we were all dressed in suits. Only a few of us had like America First hats on. We weren't being obnoxious or anything like that. But literally, as soon as I entered the building and walked in, the guy was like, "Hey, stop! You don't have a badge, do you?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, I don't know. Can I buy a badge?" And he's like, "No, we're sold out. You got to go." I was like, "What?" I was like, I literally just walked in the door, and I was like, "There's no way you're sold out. This place was empty. There was nobody in there or whatever." So I'm like, really? So there's like, you're sold out. We can't even like walk in or anything like that. So they were trying to get us out as soon as possible. It was very bizarre. But I heard a lot of groypers, like, because when we came out, there was other groypers that were leaving, and they even had like America First flags, hats on. So I don't know what the deal with that was, but literally as soon as I walked through the door, the guy was like, "Nope, stop! You don't have a badge, do you?" I was like, "Okay, whatever." So then we leave the TPUSA thing, and now the crowd has just like gotten way bigger. Now we're up to like probably 60 or 70 groypers that have just been like flowing in, right? And it's definitely not all from my group chat, and it definitely wasn't all from me or JB. Like, I think it was really just like organic. Like 10 to 20 might be because of like the thing I put in my chat, I guess. But I think that like once I got there and everybody, and then because there was like 5 people there waiting, and I got there, and then JB got there, and then I think everybody just once we started yelling at the Protestant guy, a bunch of people just started like coming with us. It was really cool. So by the time we left TPUSA, we had like 70 people. So then we go into this bar, and like we're mobbing this bar, and everybody's like freaking out. They're like, "Oh, we can't serve this many people, blah blah." So we start scattering around. Everybody's trying to figure out where AFPAC 4 is being held. So as we're standing there, and I got to see this lady. She puts her whole name out there, so I don't think she cares I say her name. Susan. This lady Susan, who's been like following me for some reason since like 2019. She's a big fan of Nick, and she told Nick about me before like I met him or something. It was really weird. So but it's really cool to always see her and her son. They got me this really cool bracelet that says free Nick Fuentes and cozy.tv or something like that. And for some reason my kids hate it. They hate how it looks on me or whatever, but it's cool. So I met them. I was talking to them for a little bit. So then we start getting rumors of where the AFPAC event is going to be. At this point, it's like, I want to say 3:30, almost 4. And we're like, it starts in an hour. Like every other AFPAC, he's announced it like within 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours or whatever. Patriot J's in here too. Let's go. Met Patriot J too. Awesome guy. So we're trying to figure out. So these journos on Twitter are trying to dox like everything that groypers are doing, and like trying to figure out where the location is. So in one of my group chats, one of the people were like freaking out about one of the journos or whatever. So then JB comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, I think we found out where AFPAC's going to go or whatever because of this journo." It was wrong, by the way. It was every journo, as far as I saw, it was completely wrong on what venue it was going to be. So anyway, so we start making our way towards the wrong venue. And at this point, now we're over 100 groypers. I'm really bad at counting, I guess. I kept thinking it was like 100, but everybody kept saying it was more and more. So we're just stackpiling groypers as we're like walking down the streets of Detroit towards the venue that is the wrong venue, but we think that it's going to be. We get to that venue. We get to, they have like this gigantic open floor bar and like hangout area. So everybody's just chilling, talking. We're like, we're just going to hang out here until everybody gets the email to go to AFPAC. So that's where I also saw Starter, who wasn't dressed in his like normal like suit drip. He was dressed like he was going crocodile hunting or something like that. Like looked awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm not used to seeing people dressed like that in real life. I guess maybe in like the Jumanji movies or something. But he looked dope. It was cool, and he approved my drip. So that's always like a good thing when a TR sartorial person who like is literally a career fashionista or whatever he's called, like approves of my drip. I'm very pleased with that. So we're chilling. So then we get the notification that says AFPAC has been canceled or whatever, and more news coming in a couple minutes or whatever. So then I forgot who it was. I think it was. I don't know. It was one of the main people that were there. It wasn't JB. It might have been Grant or one of these Catholic Reupers was like, we should pray a rosary. So I'm like, all right, do you want to go into like the corner or something like that? And they're like, no, we'll just pray it here. So Mike AF starts it and starts leading it. And we did like a 60 to 70 people rosary in the middle of a hotel while everybody else was just walking around us, like drinking, like, what are these guys doing? A bunch of people in suits just in a circle, just praying the rosary in the middle of a hotel. It was awesome. All right. So, then after that, we're looking on people's Twitters, on Vincent James's Twitter and stuff like that, trying to figure out what's going on, where are people meeting up? Is there still going to be something that goes on? So they tell us this one hotel to meet up at. So everybody starts, I think we took an Uber there or something like that. Like that's when like the crowd started to disperse, but like the crowd immediately reemerged as soon as we got to the MGM. There was like, everybody got there, like I guess their own way, but they all got there at relatively the same time. And there was over probably 200 Groypers at this point in front of this hotel. So I get there, and that's when I met Pine Sap, who was, I don't know what he was wearing, but he was in cargo shorts and like a t-shirt. It was just, but that was his, he's got aura though. He has Pine Sap aura. Like, yes, he needs to start wearing suits and never do that again, but it is kind of like an iconic thing in those pictures and stuff like that, where he's leading the rosary and it's like a dude in cargo shorts, like looking like in Roman poses while a bunch of guys in suits are behind him. That's pretty based, honestly. But so anyway, so I met with Pine Sap and JB, and then I think that's when I first met Patriot J, and then we start walking towards another hotel or whatever, and at this point, it's like 200 Groypers, and we're all walking. People are holding up their rosaries. We're chanting Christ is King, and we want Nick, Groyper, all this stuff. And then we see in the distance, like a couple blocks away, another like ocean of people coming towards us. And they're holding icons and crucifixes and rosaries. And I'm like, oh, these are definitely Groypers. And as we get closer, we see CWC leading them. And we're like, yo, so we merged into like this mecca Groyper thing that was legit like half a mile long with over 500 people in it. It was crazy. It was awesome. And so then we're trying to figure out where we're going to march to. So like CWC says one thing and then somebody else says another thing. So it ended up that we're just going to go towards the TPUSA events. So we start marching towards TPUSA, and it was really funny because so everybody already knows the story of what happened now, but like, I'll get back to that, but I want to talk about homeless Groyper. I hope that I remember to mention homeless Groyper because that was like the funniest thing that happened the whole weekend. But anyway, so blah blah blah. What was I saying? So we walk to Huntington's place, and like the street is blocked off, so we have to go around. So we go around, and like everybody gathers onto this sidewalk between like these fences or whatever, and there's like a hotel right there that you could walk up to, and then the staircase where Nick ended up speaking that was like hanging over or whatever, that was across the street directly of Huntington Place. So we all start gathering there, and now CWC and Grayson, and they had like a little crew with them, got on with people holding flags and stuff like that, and CWC starts giving a speech, and then Grayson starts giving a speech. And at first I'm like, this is like, what are you guys doing? Like at first I was like, are you guys like, this is your event now? But then I realized what they were doing, and that like took a lot of courage, because what they were doing was they were trying to keep everybody hyped up. They were trying to keep everybody there, and try to get the energy going and figure out what was going on. And they took it upon themselves, which was that was a really good move. So in the midst of while they're giving speeches, and I was like, oh, this is corny or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, no, this is actually a good thing. This is a good vibe I'm feeling right now. So then they keep going. And I see like they're struggling to like carry on because like now it's been like 15, 20 minutes or whatever. And then Grayson sees me in the crowd, and he's like, Spexo, please come up here and speak or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that or whatever. And I've literally never spoken in like public speaking at all. So I was like, all right, I got to do it. They're asking me to. So I get up and I gave a speech for like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. I have no idea what I said. I don't remember it at all. I'm not even joking. The only clips that I've seen of it are the clips that I posted myself that people sent to me. And I've still not seen a full version of any of my speech. People said that I did okay and I didn't embarrass myself or anything like that. So that's fine. But I do remember that the feeling of being up there and seeing people with crucifixes and rosaries and chanting Christ is King and America First, and people like just like applauding and agreeing when I was just saying stuff that was like AF stuff or whatever, like was an amazing feeling. I loved it. I would love to try that again without blacking out and not remembering anything I said. So that was cool. So I got to speak for a little bit. Then JB spoke. And this was, reminder, this is all just spontaneously happening. Like, nobody planned any of this. Like, we were all supposed to go to an event. We were supposed to meet up and hang out a little bit before the event. Then we were supposed to go to the event and then maybe see each other at the after party. That was, like, supposed to be the scheduled night. Now, we're walking, like, 11 miles through all of Detroit, 700 Groypers deep, and now we're holding a spontaneous political rally across the street from CFUSA. Like, it was amazing. It was so cool. So then, like, people were giving speeches. Who spoke? It was Culture War Criminal, American Grayson, me, JB, Wurzelroot, Pine Sap, Tenrio, and TR Sarder. Did I mention TR Sarder already? So it was 7 or 8 speakers. That was like, was Tenrio calling it the beta? I basically spoke at the AFPAC IV beta, so add that to my resume, I guess. But so then we start getting whispers that Nick is coming because he sees what's going on. He sees that there's a bunch of Groypers gathering around holding this impromptu rally. So we start learning that Nick is on his way. So now we have to continue to keep the crowd going. So now I go up and again, I give another 2-minute speech, and then like people are just going off and like just like freestyling, like dropping a few bars and then like coming in and out or whatever. So then, so we're doing a little cipher or whatever, and we're realizing like, okay, there's like 20 minutes left. So then somebody says, yo, we should do a rosary or whatever. And everybody's like, yes, rosary. So they're like, oh, who's going to lead it? And I went, Pine Sap's going to lead it. Pine Sap. And I brought Pine Sap on stage. We did the rosary. Bro, that was so crazy. That was awesome. The only time I've ever seen something like that in like a city was when I guess Father Mike Smith did the procession down Madison Square Garden. Oh, not Madison Square Garden, Times Square in Manhattan when he had all those Catholics. But I don't even know if they were praying the rosary. But like seeing 500 people holding, like not all of them were holding rosaries, but almost all of them were saying the prayers along with us. It was crazy. There was like, the feeling was ineffable. That's a word you guys should look up, okay? You vernacularly challenged people, okay? It was an ineffable, indescribable feeling. It was the love and energy was palpable. And then, like, it was like literally the perfect timing, because right as soon as we finished the rosary, like, somebody was like, Nick's here, and the whole crowd just turns around, and you see Nick walking with a megaphone next to Jake Shields and Tyler Russell and all this stuff just come down. I was like, yeah! So now, we thought that he was going to come to where we were speaking and take the stage, because that was the similar circumstance that happened in Stop the Steal. I went through that same process basically with Purple Polo Groyper. So, and then Nick came and ended up speaking like right in front of me. So then, all the crowd starts flooding towards Nick or whatever, and I'm like, oh, he's going up there. So I'm like, yo, I'm getting as close as I can. I don't care or whatever. I'm retarded, so I didn't realize that he was going to be speaking to like the crowd from above. I thought that like everybody was gonna go with him. We were just following him. So I'm like rushing through people. At first I was trying to be mad polite, like, right? Like I was like, oh, excuse me. And then people were just straight up like mosh pit elbowing me to get to Nick. And I was like, yo, are you serious? So I just like I'm a giant. So I just start like pushing people out of the way. I get to like in the main thing and I end up like right there, like right behind Nick again. I'm always like, me and my dad are like the Forrest Gumps of the AF movement, because like no matter what picture you look at, like every famous picture of Nick Fuentes, you see my dad in the background, like holding the flag from the Vax rallies and from AF and stuff, like from AFPAC and stuff. Like there's like 4 different pictures where my dad is in the different like famous pictures of Nick. It's mad funny. So anyway, and then I didn't. They didn't see me, but I was there. I was there. I was there. I experienced it firsthand. I was right behind him, listened to the speech when he gave Henry O the mic, everything. I even got to throw AFPAC shirts that I didn't even get an AFPAC shirt, by the way, but I got to throw AFPAC shirts to Groypers. So that was cool too. It was so like, I feel like AF, besides all of the hope and all the good like political stuff that it's like given me and the people I've met and all that stuff, like it's also given me all these like crazy experiences that like I would have never had otherwise. You know, when am I going to pray a rosary with 500 people? When am I going to be next to this gigantic like political force of a man and be throwing his t-shirts to a crowd and stuff like that? Like that's crazy to me. Like it's so cool. So then he starts after he finishes his speech. Oh, and by the way, while he was giving the speech, the security of the hotel was like trying to kick us out, but there was so many people that they like literally couldn't do anything. We thought they were going to try and call the cops or whatever because the guy was getting like a sick attitude or whatever, but he didn't do anything. He ended up just like leaving and nothing came of it. So then after Nick finished his speech, he starts walking down or whatever, and now once again it's just a flood of people following him or whatever. And I know I'm like Nick just had like his most important event canceled. Like this sucks. I feel really bad for him or whatever. But I also got to get the bag. I got to get a picture. I got to get a picture with Nick Fuentes or whatever. So I like run around like the crowd or whatever and like sprint to the front. I'm like, hey Nick, do you remember me or whatever? And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, what happened to you? Can I get a picture or whatever? Got a picture, secured the bag, and but yeah, the reason, obviously I know that he remembers me, but it's kind of like a two-faceted thing. I was being kind of like ironic. I said the same thing to him at AFPAC 3, I think. I said, hi, I'm Spexo or whatever. And, but it's also to like hype him up. Like he's like the guy now. He's mainstream, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, like, do you still remember me? But, that was really cool. He does remember me, by the way, and he says he loves me. So yeah, Cloud is crazy right now. Hype train, Spexo stock shooting through the roof. So then after that whole event, after he gets in his car, we're walking back and I see Sneeko. This was prior to the fist to teeth punch that happened. This was when he had his full amount of teeth. And he was acting very like, I was like, hey, what's up, Sneeko? Big fan. I was like, you met my dad a couple months ago at the Trump rally thing. And he was like trying to talk to you about Nick Fuentes, but you didn't want to like talk to him. And he was like, oh yeah, at the time I didn't really know what I was doing. I was like, yeah, that's cool or whatever. I was like, can I get a picture? Took a picture with him. Very nice guy. But he did seem like very like uncomfortable for some reason. I don't know if it was because like a crowd was like surrounding him or something like that. But like everybody was like trying to get pictures with him and stuff. So I guess he doesn't like that. I don't know. But then we're walking back and I meet up with JB and Pine Sap again, and we're trying to figure out what to do. And this girl, like, I want to say mid-40s or whatever, very pretty lady, blonde lady. She's like, Spexo. And I'm like, oh, hi. She's like, oh, I love your videos and all this stuff, whatever, like hyping me up. And I'm like, you watch my stuff? I was like, I didn't know I had girl viewers. That's awesome or whatever. And then I looked to her left and she's standing next to Dalton. I'm like, oh, Dalton, what's up? Right? And he's like giving me this weird face. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And he was like, hey. And I was like, is this your wife? And he was like, no, she's with him. And I look over and it's Anthony Cumia. And I was like, yo, you're Anthony Cumia. And like everybody started laughing. It was mad funny that I was like talking to Dalton and Cumia's wife or girlfriend, before like I even realized Anthony Cumia. And I'm like a huge Anthony Cumia fan. Like I used to listen to Opie and Anthony all the time when I was a kid. So I talked to Anthony Cumia. I told him about how Pete Davidson was a faggot and got my YouTube channel suspended when he talked about me on Opie's show. Like Opie and Anthony were like a host thing or whatever. This is like some Spexo lore that not a lot of people know. This was like, I want to say like 9 years ago or whatever, when Pete Davidson first got on SNL. I had like a little YouTube channel where I did like Call of Duty stuff on. And I made a video calling Pete Davidson a faggot because I went to high school with him for 2 years or 1 year. And like I knew a lot of people, a lot of mutual friends with him. And he was just like, faggot. I don't really need to elaborate. He was like, he paid my friends to like hang out with him basically. And he always used his like dad dying as like sympathy to try to get friends. He was always try hard. This is not about Pete Davidson, but I do not like Pete Davidson. Anyway, so I made a video calling Pete Davidson a faggot. Pete Davidson like went on Opie's radio show and played my entire video, and what's his name? Opie, Jim Florentine, Pete Davidson, and whoever else was the guest were just roasting me for like an hour and a half. And then they what's it called? The next day after I guess that aired or whatever, my phone starts getting blown up with notifications or whatever, and I'm getting like rated by all these people that like listen to the show or whatever. And then the next day, my YouTube channel was suspended. Like it was crazy. So I'm telling Anthony Cumia this story or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, Pete Davidson's a fag." So I'm like, "Oh yes, let's go." So then afterwards, we went out to eat with me, JB, Pine Sap, and like a bunch of other groypers. There was this one groyper there that he was like 19 years old, but he was wearing an AF merch item that was like one of the first things that Nick ever released. Like I remember when it was in the store. I wish I would have got it. But so he was wearing the shirt that like has not been sold for years. And I was like, bro, how do you have this shirt? I was like, how old are you? He was like 19. I was like, so you've had that shirt since you were like, what, 14? He was like 13. And he showed me a picture of him, and it's like this little kid in an AF shirt. It was awesome. So he was there. I talked to him. That was cool. The guy, what is he going by? The guy that Chill Hadron Groiper or something like that. I don't know, but he's here you go, Chaldean Groiper, right? I met him. He's very cool. He's very enthusiastic, to say the least, I guess. But he's cool. I like him. But we get to this restaurant, and this black waitress comes in, because we come in and we have like maybe 20 people in there, and this black waitress comes in, and she doesn't say anything hi to us or anything. She comes in, she goes, all right, listen up. Y'all have a black waitress, okay? Y'all are putting all your meals on the same bill, and that's with gratuity, okay? And there's not going to be any discussion about that. We were like, what? Okay, right? And then JB couldn't help himself, of course, and he goes, just so you know, you're serving a black customer. and she was like, oh yeah, you're cute, honey, you're cute. So we were like, all right, like, do we want to eat here? Do we want to eat here right now? Because what is she going to do to our food? So then whatever, Pine Sap was macking it to her. I'm not going to lie. Pine Sap was dropping some theological, like, gems to her or something, because I saw him go up and start talking to her, and he was feeling that chocolate sin, all right? So I don't know. That's between him and his confessor, but I'm pretty sure he got some digits or something from that black waitress that hated us at first. But then, so then everything was cool. Then we went to, what else? We went to some after party. I'm trying to think of the series of events. Let me think. Hold on. I wrote some notes down just to get my series of events. Oh, I didn't talk about homeless groyper. That's what I wanted to talk about. There we go. Good thing I wrote this down. So during the whole like walking towards like Huntington Place or whatever, and when we got there, before Nick got there was this hippie looking, like, he looked like a homeless guy. He had long hair. He was wearing shirt and shorts, and was carrying a backpack, and he had a beard. He looked legit homeless, right? And he saw us and like somehow attached himself to us, because he just like appeared out of nowhere, and he was just screaming like, down with Israel, F Israel, all this stuff or whatever. And like a couple of groypers, I thought it was funny. A couple of groypers like JB and I guess some people that were with Culture War Criminal or whatever, they were like, yo, shut up, bro, shut up, stop, optics, shut up, whatever. And he was like, what do you mean optics? Down with Israel, F Israel, is this America only, blah, 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 like just going off or whatever. And all these people were like counter signaling him. But then when Nick got there and he started like screaming those things again, Nick was like, I love what that guy's saying. It was awesome. That was like the best moment that I've ever like experienced in AF-wise. So, and then I also saw Vincent James before we went to the thing. Awesome guy. I wish I got to talk to him more, because he's very like, he seems like very like chill and mellow, and like he's more elder, more mature, an adult, you know, like me. I'm a very mature intellectual adult. So we go out to eat. Black waitress was a bitch. Then some veiled girl. There was this girl who was wearing like a veil that like trad girls wear to church, right? But we weren't in church, we were in a bar. So I was like, oh, what's up with the veil thing? So apparently, whatever, she was like a lapsed Catholic and had like conversion. Very interesting story. And she took it upon herself that now she's just gonna wear veils all the time. So she's just wearing like the veil, and I think that's cool, but I've never heard of that, and I don't think Pine Staff ever heard of that either. But so I guess she's trying to make it a new thing. I don't know, because I guess it's in like some countries maybe it's more common, but I couldn't find really anything about like veiling 24/7. But okay, whatever. She also gave me a third class relic from like Saint Joseph or something, and 2 rosaries that I gave to my kids. So that was very nice of her. But yeah, get married and have babies and stuff. Anyway, then we went to, where do we go? We go to an after party where Tenrio and Patriot J and this other kid who I ended up having a discussion with about Michael Voris from Church Militant, and learned that he's like a crazy pedophile that was like, or not a pedophile, but like a sodomite who was like continuously getting caught having sex and stuff like that. Like I learned some like behind the scenes, like inside baseball that I didn't know before, and like the whole process behind like Church Militant getting shut down and stuff. But yeah, Voris, from everything I've heard, is like a scumbag and a total piece of crap. Like, and is like, even after he got caught for like the second time fornicating with like 12 different guys, like he's still like back on doing the same things or whatever. So I guess pray for him, but ill, gross, disgusting, yikes. So then after the whole night was done, and somebody had this cake that was sick, like this custom made cake that was of Nick Fuentes holding my crucifix, by the way. Another clout Spexo stock moment. He's holding my crucifix, and it was just phenomenal. And they said that it was like completely handmade, and they made, I don't know, so like a cake chef person that you see on these TV shows made it at this after party. So that was really cool to see. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of people. There was like this guy that was like, I thought was like a vampire. He was like wearing like tight leather pants and like a shirt. And I thought he was like opposition, but he was like a groiper. And, I was a little freaked out by how he looked. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what is this guy doing? But, he's a groiper and Nick likes him. So, all right. Awesome. Love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, I guess. But he looked like he was like a rock concert guy. So I talked to him. He was nice, but very eccentric dressing. I didn't get to meet, who did I want to meet? I wanted to meet, Hoplite, and I wanted to meet, who was the guy? I think it was Hoplite. I met Valley Zoomer. Valley Zoomer did not look the way that I thought like he was gonna look. I thought Hoplite was black for some reason. I kept saying like, like Pine Sap was like, oh yeah, I'm with Hoplite or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that black guy, right? He's like, no, he's not black. I guess I was mixing Hoplite up with Hotep Jesus or something. I'm really bad with that, like names and stuff. So anyway, after party, this guy, very nice guy. I don't know if he wants me to say his name. I'll just call him the Red Man. But the Red Man, super nice guy, drives me and Pine Sap back. And Pine Sap was literally staying in an Airbnb that was in one of the worst neighborhoods I've ever seen in my entire life. All right. It was just horrible. It was literally like what I was saying before, where you would see a bunch of like burned down, decrepit houses, and there'd be one mad nice house. It was crazy. And the kid that was driving was like, yo, Pine Sap, I don't feel comfortable like letting you sleep here. Can you just like sleep on my couch? Like I live 20 minutes away. And I thought he was joking at first, but then Pine Sap ended up going with that guy, so that was mad funny. So, and then I went back, and that was basically the end. But getting on the plane to go home, there was another groiper. So it was just like both times getting on the plane, there was groipers. As soon as I landed, there was a groiper. Just the whole weekend was like phenomenal. So my review, in summary, is that obviously it sucks that it got canceled. Obviously, we all wanted to meet all the VIPs and like go on the way that it was supposed to go. But, and this is not a cope, I think that it getting canceled had a bigger positive impact than if it just would have went on with like no hitches or anything like that. You know? Because what are people talking about now? People are talking about how it got canceled. Now there's discussion about freedom of speech. Now AOC is interacting with Nick Fuentes. This is all, it's just continuing AF and Nick's rise to mainstream notoriety and allowing people more access and more intrigue into the movement and into who Nick Fuentes is. Like when Nick Fuentes went into the TPUSA event and was immediately mobbed by 100 fans, and a 12-year-old girl is coming up to him asking for his autograph and stuff like that, and and this is all over social media, and then they decide to kick him out. You don't think that that's good better for his stock than TPUSA? You don't think people are going to be like, wait, this guy's like a right-wing guy. All the people that were already at TPUSA are fans of this guy, and they're kicking him out? What's going on? Who is this guy? And basically all you have left on the right now, like on the youth of the right, are groipers, right? everybody else that is like TPUSA people are like cringe sellouts, Gen Xers, boomers, and soccer moms, basically, and Jews. That's basically all it is. Nobody cool is like, oh, I gotta go to a TPUSA event. I gotta get my freedom water and see Charlie Kirk's really tiny face. Like nobody's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy and the organic movement is America first. Nobody could have done what the Groypers did spontaneously, without planning, without anything. Just getting all of these people into this, like, it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't want to take any credit for anything, but like what even CWC, American Grayson, Pine Sap, JB, all these people that were like gathering up Groypers and leading them to the charge. And like, it's just really cool to see and to witness and experience. And if you didn't go, you're gay and you missed out. And I hope you suffer a long-term FOMO and you better go to the next one. But yeah, there's nothing else like America first. Nick Fuentes is literally going to be dictator or king of America in my lifetime. And that's that. I'm going to start inviting people to speak. Some people with clout. Let's see. So yeah, that's my AFPAC experience. Okay, I don't know. I invited like 4 or 5 of you guys to speak. If anybody wants to say anything or talk, I'm down. I got some free time. If not, I'll just end it. All right, I invited Patriot J, Chief Trumpster, Hoplite, Dr. Reginald's, Orphead, and okay, so there we go. There's Chief Trumpster. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Living the dream, man. How are you? Did I meet you?
No, unfortunately not.
Bruh, killing me. You and Black Swan. Every AFPAC event, I never get to meet.
Yeah, I was pretty low key. I didn't really go to any crazy events or anything, so I was kind of low key about it. But yeah, I heard you went to a couple of the events. I saw with the bullhorn, right?
With the yeah, I went to, well, for the AFPAC 4 weekend, I went to
Yeah.
the main speech thing. Then by the time I got to the after party, I don't even think I talked about the after party. I got to the after party, and that was when everything was going down with like the guy punching Sneeko and everybody getting kicked out. So when I got there, people were like flooding out, and I saw Nick leave, and he was saying how he got kicked out or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed a bit crazy. It seemed like there was like a million things going on at once. I mean, I think the reason why like no one retaliated against that weirdo guards because it was like so chaotic and like no one really knew. No, I don't really think anyone knew about what happened actually until after after the whole thing transpired.
Was like that venue, was that supposed to be the actual like after party place, or was that just a spontaneous like last minute decision?
No. So what happened was because the main place got canceled, they were trying to book like something for like a small group of people, and that's what they found in like less than 24 hours. And that's what happened. So I mean, no matter what, it was kind of tough to like book anything within that little time frame. But they managed to do it. But it just happened that it didn't really go the way that people wanted. I don't really think any other place that could have picked out would have went better. I mean, I think that's just what happens in like Detroit. So
I think my conspiratorial mind is saying that I think this was planned from the beginning. I think that like, because if you're dealing with an event of this size and you're coordinating all the logistics and stuff, you're dealing with a lot of money, a lot of different moving parts, especially with somebody like Nick Fuentes, where you're getting into a business contract with somebody. The luggage or the baggage that comes with that. You know who Nick Fuentes is, obviously. You know what's going on. So to allow your venue to host this event and allow all this planning and coordination to go into it, only to cancel it basically the day of the event, that tells me there's some like nefarious thing going on. I feel like it's like I think the actual government of Detroit was involved, but I also think that the venue guy like knew this was going to happen, like and planned something like this.
Well, so here's the thing. Also, I mean, they have contracts in place. So they breached the contract. I think they're more willing to pay extra money than to let this thing go on. That's what happened. Like they basically, from what Nick said on the show, like they met with he met with the actual owner of the center, They talked it out. They made it pretty clear that it was them. And despite that, they still had it going until like very last minute. So like they had knowledge of who Nick was. They knew.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, it was like a plan. In my opinion, again, it was definitely like a planned sabotage. But they'll pay the price in court. They'll pay for damages, and I'm sure there's things in the contract that specifically forbid this type of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it backfired on him too. I think it ended up working out in America First's favor. I mean, I know obviously the loss of money and all of that stuff or whatever. I mean, and I of course feel horrible for Nick and whatever he has to go through. But I think, like I was just talking about this, the more people talking about it, more people getting interested in it. I think that the fact that they went through all of this to try to cancel it, I think is going to be a bigger influence than if it just would have went out without any hitch. And Christus, you're a speaker. I don't really know how Twitter Spaces work. I see you're raising your hand. You could speak if you want. I don't know what you want.
First of all, this has been amazing listening to. In fact, I wish I was there, but
Okay.
17. But the next AFPAC, all the Goipers should wear Crusader armor.
All right. Thanks for joining. What do you think about that, Chief? What do you think about that, Chief?
That'd be pretty cool. But also, another thing. First of all, yeah, I love the stuff you do, Spexo. It's amazing.
Thank you,
I
man.
love your stuff.
I appreciate that. And we definitely that would be. I know you're not being like too serious, but the reason that we obviously wouldn't do that'd be very LARPy and gay. But it was funny because when we were watching through Detroit, we were making fun of Patriot Front because we have all these mostly it was mostly white people like that were in decent shape in suits, and we looked mad good. And I was like, you know what? What we're missing is like a bunch of people in like face masks and holding like plastic shields. Like that would give our movement more legitimacy.
Well, of course. But also another thing. Hang on. So I literally forgot what I was gonna say. It's them somehow. Those people made me forget what I was gonna say for some.
Are you doing a Forrest Gump impersonation, or you just really talk like that?
No.
No, that's awesome. All right, you from
Let's
the
not
South?
get it. My voice is very autistic and southern. I'm coming some slack.
It's all right. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So,
I actually come with a country, southern autistic. It's a real country where all Griefers come from. So,
all right.
yeah. But, oh, cool. Chief Trumpster's there as well. But yeah, I love your stuff as well, Chief Trumpster.
All right. Thanks, man. Hoplite, do you talk in these things? Do you speak?
Yo, yeah, I do. I just
Hey.
didn't want to interrupt, man.
How you doing? I wanted to meet you, bro. I was trying to meet you like mad times.
My bad, man. Honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if we met. I met like fucking 2,000 people.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was
I
insane.
kept saying like everybody is like, I'm not gonna remember anybody's face or names. I'm meeting so many people. I love you all, but I have no idea who you are.
Real. I feel the same. Everybody I met was real cool. We had a good time. I mean, I didn't get no weird vibes, maybe from a few, but we'll save.
And
We'll save that for
Is that-
another space.
is that the first AFPAC you went to, or you been to other ones?
Yeah, no, it's my first time.
Okay. I don't know your lore. How long have you been like around this stuff?
Honestly, I found Nick when he went with Ye on the Alex Jones show.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a little new. I'm kind of a new guy around here.
Oh snap! And you already made like kind of like a pretty well known.
Yeah, I mean, just telling people, drop location, probably a little Fed post.
Threatening to fight everybody.
No, but I'm a lover though, anybody that got to meet me knows I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter.
I will charitably break someone's jaw if they disrespect the movement.
Yeah, we'll break their legs and kneecaps with love.
Exactly. Yo, the guy Valley Zoomer. I thought Valley Zoomer was gonna be like this jacked 6'8" guy because all of his videos, he's just going up to people and just mogging them and calling them a faggot and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, if somebody comes up to me in the street and calls me a faggot, like I'm gonna like get mad, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people are just like, oh. And I'm like, oh, this guy has to be like some juice bag or something like that. And I met him and he's not that at all. He's just like a normal looking kid that just has mad balls.
That is so funny. All right, I know you expect like this big tough guy, and it's just like a little sweet looking kid.
I was legit. I was like, "You're a Valley Zoomer." I was like, "Holy shit, that's crazy." Who else is in here? But yeah, how is that? What's your review? Orphead, do you want to speak?
Hey, man.
Hey.
Yeah, this is my first time hopping on a space, so, yeah, I don't post much of significance, but, yeah, no, I mean, the whole experience was crazy. I mean, I've been kind of lurking since, 2021, and to kind of be around everyone with the right ideas and all, it's different. It's surreal.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, thanks. It was great meeting you. It was crazy. I met you literally as soon as I got like off the plane, and then I saw you again. We were with each other like the whole night. I feel right. I kept seeing you over and over again.
Yeah, no, I tried to stick around, the kind of hyper Catholic guys, you and Pine Sap and whoever else.
Space. Awesome. Yeah, no.
But it's funny, I always go to that airport. I always see it's full of Jews. I haven't been on a plane with any of them because usually, I'm not flying domestic, but, the guy that I was sitting next to, he was literally like reading the Talmud. It's like commentary in Hebrew.
The AFPAC, which one was it? I think it was AFPAC II. On the plane ride there, it was like, I was one of maybe 10 non-Hasidic Jews. It was literally a plane filled with Hasidic Jews. And in the middle of the flight, like these crazy like wizard Jews, I don't know whatever variation of Jew they are, but they got up and they started like doing this crazy like nod in the corner with their top hats and stuff like that. I was just vibing, but like that was crazy to see in person, like to be on a plane full of Jews. But
Yeah,
at least
that's
I knew
hilarious.
like,
Because I tweeted about it, as I was boarding, and I didn't see your post, and then I landed and I saw the selfie that you took, and I started looking around.
Oh, we were on the same plane, right?
Yeah, we were on the same plane.
Oh, I thought you just saw me in the airport. I forgot about it. That's crazy that we were on the same plane.
No, I saw you. You were just about to leave. I wasn't gonna shout out or anything.
Yeah.
No, it's funny.
Wow, that's awesome. Dante, you can speak too. I let you speak now too.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man.
So nice to meet you at the after party on Saturday. And I met some great guys that weekend. Honestly, it was a hell of a weekend. Chief, I didn't get to meet you, though. I'm upset about that. But I'm sure at AFPAC 4.5 or 3+1, I'm sure I'll bump into you. But, yeah, and honestly, the flight home, for me, same exact story, dude. Like, right before my flight boarded, you had, like, a bunch of Hasidic Jews, like, praying, like, head bobbing in the terminal. I'm like, oh, God. And I'm still rocking my AF pin, so I'm just, like, wearing it proudly. Like, they're all, like, looking at me, and I'm just, like, chilling. And lo and behold, I sit next to one, and, I actually get to move up a seat because I had the whole row ahead of me all to myself. But then, like, during the flight, I just turn around and I just start talking to him. And, like, me and him are just catching up. And he's like, wow, like, you're very well read. Where do you learn all of these things? And I'm like, hey, your rabbis, they're on YouTube. They're talking. On the feeds. And he's like, wow, you're very well read. I'm like, yeah, I read everything. The Tanakh, the Torah, I'm like, and the Talmud. And then that's when his wife looks up from her book, taps him on the shoulder. They start speaking in Yiddish. And then, like, the whole vibe changed after that. I'm like, whoa. It's, like, totally real.
Yo, that just reminded me, this is kind of off topic, but so I have my dad's friend is married to this Jewish lady, right? And she's like a secular Jew or whatever, but she's still like, she identifies as a Jew, right? But she's fine. She's always been nice to me and stuff like that. We had a 4th of July party like 3 or 4 years ago, I want to say. And we were redoing my basement and I had all of my books like in the basement, right? Like on the bar that I have. And it's all like, blood rituals of Jews and like the Eternal Jew and Mein Kampf, like all like just the most unoptical books you could ever think of, right? And so I didn't even realize, like, I was just like moving stuff around or whatever in these books that I had. And so I left them there. And then we're having this 4th of July party and the Jewish lady's there and she needs to use the bathroom. So we're letting people use the bathroom in the basement. So she goes downstairs and she's down there for like 10 minutes. She comes back up and she goes, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta go. She was supposed to be there for the 4th of July party, right? And we're like, hey, something came up. I gotta get out of here real quick or whatever. So I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. We didn't really think anything of it. So then after the party, I go downstairs and I realize that when you get in the basement, you're just blasted with just mad Hitler and like Jewish stuff. I was like, oh, all right, that's probably why she had to leave.
God.
What was like is this your first AF? You said.
I was at the rally last year in
Oh, the
Fort
Fuentes rally.
Lauderdale. Yeah, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was balling. It was my birthday weekend. I'm like, I'm just gonna go get the dinner package. So I met some good people, and it was sick. You know, like I brought my girlfriend into it. She had no idea what she was getting into, and I'm just like, hey, like if
Oh
she's
no.
still with me after this, and she's a keeper, right? No, but it was a great time, and you know, this weekend was. It was something else. I mean, it is a shame it got canceled, but at the same time, it's also like white pilling to see how much was just like spontaneously like done last minute. And yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I met a bunch of great people. Shout out Hoplite. You know, I'm gonna shoot you a PDF with that
Was
idea
he
we were
black?
talking about. No, he's like honestly like he's like on the Don Jr. vibe. I feel like Don Jr. wasn't a faggot. You know, Hoplite's mad cool. And
What is he?
yeah,
He's like
you
Italian.
know, actually, I'm not sure, but he's right here. You could pull him up. But yo, like talk about some few odd stragglers. Yo, I do not know that dude. Just to let you know, I gave this guy some space in my Airbnb, and he didn't have VIP tickets. So
Ooh.
I'm like, yo, here are my keys. You know, I'm gonna go to the after party. You go back to the crib. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like going all over Detroit trying to get my fucking keys back. This guy's like half blasted at Hoplites, and I'm like, oh god. But
Oh,
anyways, it was a great time.
That's
Yeah, you
crazy.
tried fucking leaving me that kid as my problem. That was fucking insane.
I got you, dude. I got you. I understood. I was heated though, and then I met a guy outside. He's like, "Yo, you're moving too fast." I'm like, "Damn, I am." But dude, I was so pissed off because like the instructions were, "All right, Uber to the Airbnb because you have the keys." 2 hours later, he's like, not speaking English. I'm like, okay. No, but it was great though. It was great, and I
Yeah.
respect you, Hoplite. It was a great time. And yeah, I hope many more. This movement's not going anywhere, and I feel like a lot of us are just gonna stick with it, and like hopefully we just level up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Specto, you gave me like some nice advice, kind of control the power level. I'm like, look, I'm gonna just
Oh,
be
okay. Now I remember who
I
you
took a
are.
photo
Oh,
of you and
snap.
Patriot J, you know, and you were heading out, so I didn't get to have a great conversation, but. You threw some wisdom, like you kind of anchored me, like, yo, like, take it easy, you know? And I'm like, yeah, like my dad telling me the same thing. And I'm just like, but 9/11, you know? And no, but it's real though. I feel like the paradigm's shifting so fast. At some point in the next couple years, I mean, even Candace Owens is on YouTube talking about the
Bro,
dancing Israelis.
that's
So
bro. How the conversation has like switched so drastically, and it started with Ye. It was whatever's
100.
going on, whatever was going on with Ye now. Okay, I pray for him and stuff like that, but. Him going out there and saying that stuff about Jews and putting this out there in the world and being unapologetic about it, and then getting involved with Nick Fuentes and all of that stuff or whatever, that opened Pandora's box that is never going away now. And now it is mainstream conversation. Don't get me wrong, October 7th definitely helps too, but thanks Hamas, just kidding. But like they now it is part of the mainstream narrative of like criticizing Jews. It's like you're a fag now if like you're pro-Israel almost. Like the youth of America on both sides are groypers and like these like AOC liberal retards that like think they're genociding brown people and hate them or something like that. So like it's like both sides of the youth are like super anti-Israel and don't want them to have like influence in our country. So there's really no stopping this force now. And obviously because we have Nick and we have AF and we're actually a cohesive movement, we have God on our side and we're actually correct about the things that we believe in and stuff like that, it's inevitable that we're going to take over. It's going to be Groyper country within the next generation. Like I truly believe that my grandchildren are going to see a Catholic king in America, or we're going to die in a nuclear holocaust by the Jews.
It's one or the other, right?
Yeah, that's
No,
either. It's like nuclear
it does
holocaust or
feel
Catholic
like that,
monarchy.
yeah.
That's it. But yeah, no. But all right, man. It was great meeting all of you. If anybody else wants to raise their hand, and say anything, you can if you'd like to. If not, I'm gonna probably call it a day. I guess I gotta download this and make it into a video. But all right. I love all you guys. Chief Chumpster, Hoplite, Dante, Orphead, everybody that spoke. Love you guys. God bless. America first. Christ is King. All that good stuff. Okay. Love you. Bye.